So hello to all audience of Métal Zone on Oxygène Radio. We are in Nantes at the warehouse for a fucking bill. This is the 14th anniversary tour of the band Destruction, and we've got the huge pleasure to be with a band, I'm sure you know them, coming from New Jersey, USA, WHIPLASH, with two members. Hello, how are you? And can you first introduce to our audience?
Yeah, Tony PORTARO from WHIPLASH. We're excited to be here in France, and we're having a great time on the road with Destruction. Their 40th year anniversary, and ours will be next year as well.
My name is Will. I play bass for WHIPLASH. It's an honor to be here.
Okay, cool. Welcome. So, for the few people who don't know, who have missed the band, can you do a brief history, because I know you began in 84, from the Genesis until now.
That's correct. In 84, it was the three Tonys, Tony Scaglione, Tony Bono, rest in peace, and myself, Tony PORTARO. And we started out in 84, as you said, and we took our influences from the San Francisco Bay Area bands, and I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, so I combined that with the theory that I learned, along with the East Coast of the United States style that we had, I guess, from birth, you know. So when you take them all, throw them in a blender and mix it up, that's when we came up with Power and Pain. Probably the most famous WHIPLASH album since we started.
I agree with that. The band reformed in 2017? Yeah, that's right. 2007? 2007. After 7 years hiatus, what were your motivation at that time to come back?
I remember grunge music took over all the radio airplay in the United States, and it was a big quiet lull for thrash metal. And then it started to come back, and it made us feel alive again, and that's when we started putting it back together and look at it now. And I've been told that it's even more popular in France now and growing more and more in France than it has in years. So I'm glad that that's happening here, because everyone deserves to hear thrash metal music.
Oh yeah, we deserve it, of course. Let's talk about your latest album, Born Again. Your seventh album was released in 2009. Can we hope, maybe, I don't know, you will tell us, new songs or a new album in the near future?
We do have 5 songs that are finished being recorded, and Ronnie Lipnicki from ex-Overkill played the drum tracks on that. And we also had Dan Ford from London, England. He's in the band Sixth. He performed on those 5 songs as well. And that's ready to go. It just needs to be mixed and mastered and cover art. And I was talking to Shamir from Destruction, and he was telling me of who does his artwork, and hopefully we'll work with them in Hungary.
Okay. Can you tell us for how many years you're in the band now, and how did you get involved in WHIPLASH with Tony?
I joined WHIPLASH August of last year temporarily as a fill-in. I had to learn the set in 1 week and fly to Finland to perform at the Speed Metal party, which I guess I didn't really know it, but that was kind of an audition, because soon after that Tony brought me in full time. So I've really only been in the band for about a year and a half. I'm no stranger to WHIPLASH, though. I'm in another band back in America called Thanatotic Desire, which Tony has been very kind to and has taken us on the road before in America. So we've been part of the WHIPLASH family for many, many years.
Okay. Cool. Next year, the band will celebrate its 40 years of existence. How do you look back on the band's career, and what were the highlights that you will keep in mind?
It's funny that you asked that question because lately I see what Sodom is doing and doing a lot of their old school songs and touring still. And the first huge Whiplash tour that we ever did was the Sodomania tour back in '88. So I'm trying to get in touch with Tom, and I'm friends with Frank Blackfire, who we played in Japan with Thonotonic Desire, Will's band. And I'm hoping that Tom will agree to do a Sodomania 2 tour of Europe with Whiplash and take it back years and years ago and bring it to the future and now make it alive again.
Okay, that would be fucking cool. We're waiting for that, of course. So, as I said, the band crossed 4 decades in the metal industry. What would be your advice to young starting heavy bands nowadays?
When Whiplash started with the 2 Tonys, we were in other bands at the time, but I think the best thing for you to do, and the same thing that we did, is surround yourself with the best musicians that you know, so you can flourish and not have any limits. And that's what we did. And what I would suggest is if your mother's in the band and she's not that good, then kick her out.
That's clear. Okay, so this is a good advice. So
don't forget, she's the one that cooks your food, so do it in a nice, polite way.
Yeah, nice. So be a little bit okay. So Tony, you are, I think, 62 this year. How do you see your future in and outside the music world?
Well, right now I'm playing the 2 guitars I have. My Jackson Kelly, which is a beautiful guitar, and the Gibson SG. So there's 2 of those, and now I'm probably going to continue playing thrash music with 2 crutches. So I could stay on 2 legs, 2 crutches, 2 guitars. I should be okay.
Fantastic. Very, very funny. So you are younger? You are young?
What gave that away? I was born when Power and Pain came out. I was born in 1984. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And now you're in the band.
Now I'm in the band. You know, it's kind of a dream come true in a sense. I've grew up listening to 80s thrash metal and speed metal and power metal, and you know, I've always wanted to play in one of those bands, but it doesn't seem like a feasible goal. But you know what? Like Tony said, his advice to younger bands: you surround yourself with the best musicians you can find. And you know, when we met Whiplash many years ago, we became fast friends, and he always looked at us and admired what we did. So it's an honor, and I never thought I'd actually be in an 80s thrash metal band.
It's like a consecration for you.
It's incredible.
Can you tell us more about your musical background?
Well, I used to grow up watching bar bands with my father, and I just loved live music. Live music just made my blood do something that nothing else does. So I quickly attached myself to music. I grew up listening to Van Halen, Def Leppard, and then eventually Black Sabbath, Anthrax, Metallica, Whiplash, and all the 80s thrash, and I just never turned my back on it. So I've been playing. I used to steal my father's guitar until he got sick of that and got me, a cheap guitar sometime in 8th grade for me. So took lessons, started a band the next year, quit the lessons, and then I became a bass player a couple years after that, just because we needed one. And now I can't even hold a pick or play guitar. I'm just a full-fledged bass player now. So it's all I've ever wanted to do.
Okay. And for you, Tony, if you're looking back at your childhood, can you tell us in which musical environment did you grow up, and do you remember the first piece of music that was for you a trigger?
Richie Blackmore was my favorite. I hate to say that nowadays because I'm not happy with what he's doing, but I have to give a lot of credit, I guess you could say, to my parents, because they did give me my first electric guitar when I was 5 years old. So that was important, and I didn't really get serious until I was about 16, 17, and then I ended up going to Berklee College of Music, and that really helped. Knowing theory, in my opinion, is a necessity, because if you know, you can see the music. Yeah. And then every song you write won't sound the same. You're able to create music that is over a more wider spectrum, and I think that's very important. But that's not always the case, because look at U2. Their songs sound very similar in most cases, and they're very, very popular. So, but in my opinion, I think theory is very important for young musicians.
Okay, thank you. Do you remember each other, the first show you attended?
No, but the Sodomania tour was a real highlight for us, and like touring with the tour bus like we did back then was incredible. Our first time in Europe is always special, and now to tour with Destruction and share a bus with them, they're great to us. Shmir, he's on top of everything, and Damir is always smiling and happy. So we're having a blast on this tour, and we thank them for inviting us.
A pleasure for us and for the people, of course, come to see the show, because you don't come, of course, often in France, and you did 2 shows in France yesterday in Cléon and today in Nantes, so it's a big pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Do you remember the first concert you've got to see live?
First big concert. I mean, as I said before, I watched countless bar bands as a kid. It got to a point when I was like maybe 12 where the bar owners were like, "Hey, Craig," my father, "Craig, we love you guys. We love your son, but he's getting to that age where you can't be hanging out at the bar." A kid, father bringing your kid to a bar, sure. But it got to a point where I was almost a teenager, and they had to basically say, "Get out of here." So not too long after that, my father took me to my first big concert, which was Metallica. Okay. Then 2001.
2001? Yeah, okay. Cool. So you are doing this Euro tour with Destruction. What are the future plans for the band in the next few months?
I'd like to get these 5 songs out and shop them around and see what we can do. Right now we're doing everything independently, and I think we're going to keep it that way. And with social media and the availability online with digital, the songs being processed digitally and everything, I think it's a good idea, and we're going to give that a shot for the first time in our career. So we'll see how it works. Hopefully you'll buy some stuff.
Yeah. Buy it. It's important nowadays for bands. Buy the releases, digital or physical, the merchandising, go to the shows. It's important. Okay, so something to add to conclude? Some words for your French fans, because I know you've got a loyal fan base in France.
Well, it's good to be back here. I hope it's not the last time, and we're having a great time. Thank you for being so polite, and thrash till death.
Yeah.
Thrash till death.
Okay, thank you very much. This was 2 members from WHIPLASH. We wish you a lot of good things, of course, for the future of the band, for you, for your families, for your friends. Don't forget to laugh every day. It's important to laugh, to have fun. Take care of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Merci.